Good morning, everybody, and a very, very warm welcome once again to session number 451 of Empowering Morning Conversations. And for the benefit of people who are joining for the first time, let me very quickly run you through what is Empowering Morning Conversations, why do we have it, and why should people be on it. All right. So Empowering Morning Conversation was started, I think, more than a year back. And the purpose was to defeat the negativity that bombards us. Because as you know, there is so much negativity all around. And if we get influenced by that negativity, then there's pretty much very little that we can do in our life. So we said, hey, why don't we counter it? We will influence life rather than getting influenced by life. And the purpose of Empowering Morning Conversations was to declare a life of ease, a life of joy, and a life of glory. This is what we are going for. And the way we do that every morning is by shifting from a certain mode that we are in, usually the default mode or the survival mode. And in the survival mode, you just want to survive. You hold on to your job, hold on to your problems because it's too difficult to change them, etc., etc. So we want to move to the create mode. Like we want to create our life rather than be stuck with the life that we already got. Okay? We want to dissipate all the negativity that surrounds us from the circumstances and from other people. We want to become possibility seekers rather than complainers. Now, this is what we desire to do. We want to increase our focus. We want to increase our energy in our life. Now, as you might have realized, it is easy to wish for these things, but very difficult to do them. Now, at the age of 27 years old, I dared to pursue my calling, my heart, and make a choice about living my life the way I wish to. And I went through all the trials and tribulations to live a life that I choose, and I'm living a life I choose, and I'm enjoying what I do. So whenever I meet someone who has dared to dream, who has dared to go off the beaten track, so like, you know, you all would want to do that yourself if you could, right? So I thought you will benefit from the experiences of people who have actually done that, faced those difficulties, faced those obstacles, overcome them, or are in still the process of overcoming them. So I thought we can inspire you all by getting people like that to come and join us from time to time. So yesterday you spoke to a wonderful lady who overcame something big, something life-threatening. Today, I have great pride and great pleasure in introducing an extraordinary young man whom I met about 10 years ago. And another trainer friend of mine had introduced me to him. And I saw that spark in Atul, you know. I said, this guy has got the courage to pursue his dream. And so I want to support him. So he became a part of my life and I've been supporting him. It's a great pleasure for me to welcome my dear friend and associate, Mr. Atul Puri. Let's all join together and give him a very warm welcome to Empowering Morning Conversations. So Atul.
Thank you, Sukhdeepak. It's really a privilege to be here. And good morning to everybody. For some of you, a very early morning. For some of you, an okay kind of a morning.
Yeah, can be a little louder, Atul.
Sure. Am I better now?
Yes.
All right. So, Sukhdeepak, yes, these 10 years that I have known you, or maybe more than that, have been really interesting. And every time I've spoken to you, I've been able to see a different person or a different perspective of life. One of the things you just said was about moving from survival to create. I think that's really, really awesome. So before I get into the conversation, I'd like to ask all my friends here, what do you want me to share with you about? What would you like to hear from me? You could either post it in the chat box or you could just unmute and share. Yeah, Mr.
Reddy
Shiprasad.
Garu has raised his hand, so we can ask him to share. Yes,
Yeah.
Reddy Garu.
Sir, we would like to know how you created growth in your life in the last 10 years. Thank you.
Sure, I'll definitely address that. Anybody else?
Well, I want to say
Yeah.
something. Atul, I want you to share about difficulties you encountered and what was the impact, how it kind of slowed you down and how you overcame them, because that's another thing that everybody experiences. Go ahead, Shakti.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. This is Shakti here from Hong
Hi,
Kong.
Shakti. Hi, Shakti.
Yeah, I would like to know about how you overcome your fears for the startup when you start, when you just, how you manage to create the so much growth within 10 years. What are the challenges you have faced? I would like to know about that.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody else?
Okay.
All right. Hi, Arvind.
Hi, Atul.
Hi.
Very good morning. I would specifically like to know in your growth path, what is the importance of managing day-to-day life? How do you focus on that, and what is the the empowerment that gives you in your journey, avoiding distractions and all other aspects? Thank you.
All right. Hi, Kunan. Seeing you after a pretty long time.
Very good morning, sir, and welcome to this empowering morning conversations.
Thank you.
The question coming to my mind, right, sir, what I would like to know is that how do you have conversation with your mind and how do you manage your emotions, sir? Thank you.
Okay. Conversations with mind and emotions. All right. Thank you. Thanks for such lovely questions. Anybody else? Tick, tick one, tick, tick two, tick, tick three. All right. So thank you for being here, and thanks for sharing what is riding on your mind right now. Okay. I invite you to keep whatsoever is there in your mind, other than the questions which you've already shared, on the right hand side. Okay. And I will share all what I have. Okay. The first question, rather among the many other questions, what was asked is, how did I cause growth? So my vehicle of growth has been to help others grow. Okay. So when I'm speaking to you and I hear something, so hear does not mean that you put it into words. Hear means I experience that. Maybe you've not been able to decipher that. Maybe you've not put that into words. And whichever manner I can contribute to you and I leave you empowered, that is something which helps me grow. All right. So managing day-to-day life. So for me, while there are people who talking about work-life balance, work is life for me. And my private life is also life for me. And when I refuse to have those two as two different domains, I don't have to toggle between one Atul and another Atul and a third Atul and a fourth Atul. It's the same Atul which goes through. So, so that dissipation of energy is not there. I don't carry different faces. That has both awesome impacts, and at times it has a backlash as well. Because I don't come out to be a very polished guy at times. At times, I end up saying something wherein it lands as if I'm rude, but I'm okay with it. People say so. So just yesterday, Sudeepak sent me a message that he had a conversation with somebody about me, and that person he said some XYZ. My response to that is, wow, this is an acknowledgement for me. So I could have uh, uh, taken that and diced and sliced that, why this, how this, getting into it, and lost my peace of mind on it. I simply said that whatsoever he said, that's an acknowledgement for me. And how is it that I can use it to take my life to the next level? That is something which has kept me going. Distraction. So I get distracted 1,001 times a day. Okay. And I enjoy that. So Deepak is laughing on it. So every time he would say that you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. And then he would say you do only one thing, nothing more. And then in the evening, when we would have a conversation, I would have done everything but that one thing. So that distraction, rather than looking at it as a distraction, I look at that as something which helps me grow, which helps me evolve. Okay, as a young one, as a small child, if you observe the children around, they don't get hooked onto something for a very long time. Okay, just yesterday, my niece was howling at the top of her voice because she wanted a sketch pen. And for around half an hour, she was stuck to this idea of a sketch pen. And once she got it, in a couple of minutes, she had marked lines on her face. And after that, sketch pen was out of her life. And then she moved on to eating something or running around or doing something of that kind. So this is how I am. I get distracted and I'm okay with it. So I don't learn a new word every day and next moment I want to be that. I'll just repeat that again. I don't learn a new word and next moment I want to be that. That is something which has kept me going, which has kept me evolving. Um, Emotions. Ah, well, I am emotional and I don't shy away from it. Very often, the remarks that I get is that whatsoever is there in my mind is seen on my face, which very often is taken as not a great sign. If I give away all what I have, the other person has the power to do things or to manage the conversation. So this is something that I'm working on, trying to put a plastic smile or but then let us see how far it goes. As of now, I am enjoying to be emotional. I hear that that is very much heard in my voice, in my expressions, and that's perfectly fine. Each one of us is unique. We've got our own characteristics. We've got a certain way in which we carry ourselves. So rather than running after 1,000 different people, personalities, and trying to be them, be just one, that is myself. I think that's something which keeps me going. What else? Overcome fears. Yes, I'm very, very fearful. And then I say, okay, so there is fear. Let's see what can I do beyond it. So I take those small baby steps and go beyond the fears. And life keeps on happening. So life is fearful of me and I'm fearful of life. At times, life overcomes me. At times, I overcome life and life continues. It's that simple. So I keep on looking at how things can be made simpler. There are enough and more reasons why things are complex. The technology, the way it is moving, is so complex. If I choose to make it simple, it is simple, right? I mean, if I were to see what is there on the table for breakfast, and I start thinking about whether it has enough carbohydrates, whether there are enough proteins, whether there are enough minerals. Oh, today I did not get enough vitamin D. Vitamin E is missing. They'll take away all the joy of eating whatsoever is there on the plate. So make things simpler. And if this has become too much of a heavy dose, maybe it's time that you could smile for a moment. Did I answer all the questions? The first question was about being slow and fast, if I'm not wrong, right? Could you please repeat what is the question about being slow? I think Reddy Garu asked that.
Reddy Garu asked that about growth. His question was about growth. Reddy Garu, you can unmute yourself and tell him once again your question.
Yes, sir. How we created growth from in a creative mode? How creative?
Yeah.
I want
So,
to.
all right. So let me give you an, so if, so I've created an acronym for create. Okay. You might want to write it down if you wish and take it into your life. C stands for challenges. R is resolution. E is empathy. T is trust. CREAT. E is empower and enable. So whenever I have a conversation with the person across me, I operate from this. First, identify what's the challenge that we're talking about. What can be the probable resolutions? How can I be a part of his solution rather than being a part of his challenge? All right. Being empathetic towards him. I always have the choice to be critical towards him. You should have done this. You should have not done this. You could have been. I could be empathetic in that scenario. Whatsoever he did was perfect. Trust. I trust him and I allow him to trust myself as well. Analytics. So there has to be some amount of analysis around it. What else is possible? What was missing? Maybe what was something that he did not look at? What else could have been there? Maybe a couple of more perspectives, need not be just one. And what is most important is at the end of the conversation, leave the person empowered and enabled. So give something more than what he came to you with. Now, this is something which will keep him going. Analysis is missing, Sukhdeep. CREATE. So in this fashion, and when you have 1,000 people around you and you have contributed to them, whether they acknowledge or not, you know it. So you would be left as a larger person yourself. This is how I caused growth. And I continue to do that every day. There are times I speak to people or they come back and tell me that this is what you contributed to my life. I said, is it? I never did that consciously. But that's become a second nature today. So, Reddy sir, does this answer your question?
Thank you, sir. But why don't you speak a little louder? I'm not able to hear properly.
Are you able to hear better now?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
All right. Okay. Yeah, got it. Yeah, Shakti, you want to ask something?
Yes, sir. I have a sub question of this, whatever you have answered. When you are facing this kind of thing, in any time did you feel that fear of failure? Okay, this people is not working as I expected. I understood that you are making that, okay, I'm contributing, whether they are acknowledging it or not, you are into that mode. But anytime did you feel that fear of failure? Okay, if this person is not working the way I want or the way I expected, we are not going to get the expected outcome. Anytime did you face any fear of failure? How to overcome that?
So, if I were to say no, I never faced failure, that would be a farce. I feel the failure of this experience every day. And let me share with you my entrepreneurial journey. Maybe that will give you some openings. All right. So I'm somebody who was in a job for around 20 years. So, and then rather when I was in a job for around 18 years, so 2014, that is when I used to work with a Fortune 50 company. I used to operate out of an air-conditioned office. At the end of the month, I would get my salary. And for some reason, I thought that this small entrepreneurs, they put everything on stake and are not able to make their ends meet. So what is it that I could do such that I can be a part of their solution rather than being a part of their problem? This is the thought with which Egrowth started. So I used to do my day job. In the evening, I would go and sit with some friends, ask them what are their challenges, look at how we can resolve them. And this is how we started building the community. It was all fine, having some merry time with friends. Now the next piece was I had been an entrepreneur, so I had been a professional for a very long time, and I did not have the courage to go on my own. And second piece was the entrepreneurs would ask me, why should we listen to you? You don't even know the E of entrepreneurship, which was very true. And I did not have the courage to leave my cushy job and start on my own. So the first step that I took was in 2015, I left this job and joined a startup. Startup was a different space altogether. We used to service people's cars at their doorstep. In a span of around 15 months, we got around 1,500 auto mechanics on board. And we also got the likes of Castrol, Purolateral, Gabriel on board. Obviously, there was this fear of failure every day. What if we don't get cars to service? What if we don't make enough revenue today? And that was a daily piece. And then during this period, e-growth community, it grew to around 2,000 people. And this was the time when I thought that now I'm ready to make the switch and get into entrepreneurship for good. So December 2016, I quit the job. January 2017, eGrowth had officially begun. The company got set up in April 2017. This was the first time we spoke. I started thinking that, oh, to run a company, we would need some revenue. So what can we do for that? So we launched subscription for the first time. So when we launched subscription, all those people who had been associated with eGrowth as the free users, none of them joined as paid subscribers. So here again, the fear of failure came, and I would get suggestions from my family and friends. Why don't you take up a job? Why don't you take up a part-time job? Things are not going great. And I would still keep on overcoming that. So that was the time I had a financier in my mother. So she gave me roti, kapda or makan. So the home that I'm living in, this is what she had constructed. So they had constructed. She was a retired uh, government officer. So she was getting pensions. So she was feeding me. And I did not buy too many clothes for a very long time. So my basic needs were met, and this is how I dealt with my fear of failure. And I kept on building eGrowth. So I had given myself 2 years. So 2017, 18, it still did not make money. In 2019, I said, what else can be done? I got into training. So I published another business model, which is called as the leverage model, which is to help people design their business. Since I had designed a business myself and I had seen enough failures, I thought this is something what I can share with others. Now this started. Here again, there was not enough revenue coming in. But over the period of time, the first program was free. The second program was around 3,000 rupees. The third and the implementation program, that was a 50,000 program, Indian rupees. And that started doing well. In the meanwhile, in the eGrowth space, we introduced another premium subscription, which was called as the Inner Circle. So when we launched a high priced product, all those people who had subscribed at the low price, they did not join again. So yet one more step and another fear of failure. What if people don't join the Inner Circle? So like this, life and eGrowth continued one step at a time. 2021 happened, and 2021 in March, I caught COVID. I and my brother, both of us were in hospital for around 10 days. There was another setback. We lost our mother to COVID. When I came back, I was physically not fit enough to run around. Now my support structure had also crashed. And this time again, I had this fear of failure. How would I survive? I can't live off my brother anymore. Means anymore means that is something which I did not want to do. So I took up a job. So I reached out to a friend. He extended a job to me. I started working with him and spent 1 year with him. And in this 1 year, once again, the fear of failure was kind of sorted, but eGrowth started coming back. That is something what gave me passion. So that is something which allowed me to contribute to others. And in June 2022, that was last month, I took a call once again that I have to come back to eGrowth and revive it. And this time eGrowth has to make money. So it has made relations. It has contributed to more than 50,000 entrepreneurs throughout its existence. How about designing it such that it makes money from day one? So right now, I'm again sitting on fear. What if and how? So what, why, where, when, and how? So 5 wives and 1 husband, they keep threatening me every day, every moment. And I keep on responding with a smile, looking at, it's your time. My time is also around. So this is how we've been building on it. So this time round, I took a very different kind of a route. So while in the previous avatar of Egrowth, I was the lone ranger and I kept on fighting it single-handedly. So this time I thought, let me seek advice of some learned people. Any idea who was the learned person?
Subdeepak sir.
Right. So I'd always been seeking support from him. He's like a father figure. Okay. This time I did not want to leave it to a chance. We wanted to make it more structured and really make it happen. So even before I released the intention of getting back to eGrowth, so while I was still in MSM, I engaged some people and we started having a formal engagement so that we can design eGrowth. And today it's almost 1 month since I'm out of my company and we've still not released the exact structure. Okay. One thing what we released 2 or 3 days back was that eGrowth is going to have a mentor board. And the first person who is there on the mentor board is Sudeepak Malwai. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to build a mentor board, a set of mentors from different aspects of the industry. So manufacturing, international business, technology, soft skills, all those pieces. So this is the first piece that we put in place so that our foundation is strong. And any idea who is going to manage? So one more thing I have been told is that hands off. So there have to be structures which work for themselves. So who is going to manage the mentor board? Any idea?
Niti ma'am.
Yes, 100%. Right?
Maybe, ma'am. I saw that. Yeah.
So we were looking for somebody who can bring in that level of professionalism and integrity to this entire initiative. So the many a times the only one who stops the initiative is me. So I removed myself from this initiative. Niti is managing it. Sudeepak is one person already on the mentor board, and we will have more of them. So this is one of the initiatives which we've just taken. Second piece is the inner circle. There were a lot of feedbacks that we had gone from the inner circle last time. Okay. So one of the feedbacks was that that the people so one of the things that we got was that people wanted real stuff to happen. Okay. So what we've done is we are putting in place a contact center wherein we will have outbound calls so that we are able to engage our people better, get real business leads, and distribute them to the inner circle members. All right. Second piece that we are doing is we already have a creative person on board, and we will be offering social media posts to the inner circle members. So one of the challenges of a small business is that they think about digital marketing and are not able to execute it. So this is also something that we are taking off the back of the inner circle members. All right. Other than this, earlier there used to be a president who was selected between the inner circle members who used to manage the day-to-day activities. We are looking at somebody who would be managing the inner circle as well, and who would be an e-growth person. So it's like a so if we look at the Prime Minister's office, that is managed by a set of very highly placed officers who are probably principal secretaries in the government hierarchy. So like this, we are putting in place the structures, and Atul is missing from that structure. All right. As we go further, we will be putting in still more things. And this time, we'll definitely break the ceiling. That's where we are. Rather, we've already broken the ceiling, and we've started seeing the results. Yesterday, we had the first person for the new inner circle who paid up. Okay. And one thing which I missed was that for the mentor board, so Deepak Malvai, he's the chair for the mentor board. So the intention here is that it should not happen that we just have trophy mentors. The mentor board does some real work. And I want Deepak to be off my back. So get some other high profile people so that he can work with them. So does this kind of give an answer to the sub question that you had?
Yes, sir. Awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Any other questions, concerns, sub questions, sub questions? So Hasina ji, you intend to ask something?
No, thank you.
My pleasure.
I have a small question.
Yeah.
Do you have targets fixed for your future?
A very good question. So I'm of the belief that targets are never fixed. Life has moving targets. So yesterday, my niece, when she was cranky, she had only one target. She wanted a sketch pen. The moment she had a sketch pen, she wanted to have the mango. Once she had the mango, she wanted me to come with her and probably dance with her. All right. So um, a target that I had sometime a couple of weeks back was that I want to take back home 5 lakh rupees a month. That may be small for many of you. That may be okay for some of you, and that may be large for some of you. And then to have that kind of a thing, Egrowth should make somewhere around, I see some of you are not from India, so I hope you're okay with the terms lakhs and crores and rupees, Indian rupees. Okay. So for me to take back home that kind of money, Egrowth has to make a certain kind of money. So that is the initial target. Now, the moment we have that kind of a target and we have an appreciable head count, that target will again swell. Once Egrowth is fairly well positioned in India, then we would want to go to Hong Kong and to Dubai. The target will again change. Once we're established in Hong Kong and Dubai, Then why should we leave Singapore alone? And then the financial business, it happens in New York and London. Why leave them alone? Fashion happens in Milan and Paris. Why should they stay away from us? Technology happens in Silicon Valley. So this is how the target is. Reddy Garu, I hope I've answered the question.
So I want to know the follow-up action.
So I just shared the follow-up action, right? A couple of things which I just answered or rather shared, is that when we are building Egrowth, we are putting these structures in place. These structures in place are for those targets. So as of now, we are looking at 60 crores per annum for Egrowth. Okay, so if that is what we want. Now, for 60 crores, Atul Puri as a lone ranger will not be enough. So that is why we have a mentor board in place. The structure was on paper and it is in reality. Okay, inner circle, we cannot have an inner circle, the member who's paying say 30,000 rupees per annum. We would need somebody who would need to pay maybe 5 lakh rupees per annum. So how to get those kind of people? How many of them? All right. Then we are looking at, okay, this is fine. Just with membership, it may not work. What else can we do? So we're looking at having buyer-seller meetings, having micro trade shows to begin with, and maybe mini trade shows, and later on full-blown trade shows. Again, I hear Dubai is pretty well known for trade shows. And so that is the seat for Africa, Middle East, and Europe. So why not capture that? But that will be after a couple of years. As of now, we are starting with Sudeep.
I just wanted to say that, he's very good in leveraging, and he's joined the Rotary Club last year, and he's joined the Passport Club. So we've got members in Dubai also, right? And one of his intentions is to use those contacts to open up new markets for himself.
Yeah. In fact, last year, when the online conversations were at their high, we were having what is called as the CEO talks. So we had a couple of speakers from Dubai, and I also spoke for this organization called Entrepreneurs Connect. All right. In the inner circle, we have members from Australia, from Thailand, from Dubai, as well as in India. So we already have small signature presence in different places, and we're building from there. And Rotary is just one of those pieces. I have also been a charter member with TAI. I am a member with Fire and Security Association of India. In fact, today is Friday. Tomorrow, I'll be interviewing the CMD of Zycom, if you know the company, Pramod Rao. Yeah. So tomorrow I'll be interviewing Pramod Rao from Zycom. So like this, as Sudeepak rightly mentioned, yes, leverage is something that I consciously work on. Hi, Kashas. Yeah.
Zycom or Zephyr?
Hello, did we lose you?
Am I audible?
Yeah, now you're audible.
Zycom are they into manufacturing or like where they support in manufacturing or material?
So Zycom has been a pioneer in the electronic security industry.
Okay.
Okay. So your door phones, access control, then fire alarms, intrusion detection. These are some of the pieces that they've been working on, both as products, as services, as security as a service. They've kind of brought in a lot of innovation there. So Pramod took this organization to a level wherein he sold one part of his business to Schneider Electric.
Okay.
And he still continued to keep Zycom as a brand with himself.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. 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 Kunan, you had raised your hand earlier as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Atulji. It's very exciting and congratulations and best wishes. The question coming to my mind is that it reminds me of Mr. Ambani, one of the statement. He says that money is a byproduct. If the business is successful and clients have faith in your offerings. So what is the mission statement of your company and how we present here can actively participate to put some service to your organization?
So your growth is our business. This is all what we say. All right. How you can contribute? So there was Tom Cruise, if I'm not wrong. I don't remember the name of the movie, but then he used to say, "Show me the money." So that's how you can help me. So why show? I would not have said this a couple of years back, a couple of quarters back, but right now, if that money is not there, Egrowth will not be where we envisage it to be. All right. So conversations are great, but conversations don't cook rice at home. If you want your business to grow, you got to invest in it. Does that forward the conversation?
Yeah, but I'm a bit uncomfortable with the money-minded approach of the business because money is a byproduct of the services what we offer. So shall not we focus on the services, then money will automatically follow.
So one of the businesses said, get the people, money will follow.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
I think Google says this. Okay, and this is what they've been doing. At least their actions say the same. So let me just share with you. Egrowth, the community is around 50,000 business owners today. And these 50,000 have come without money. But to keep them together, to help them meet their aspirations, just conversations will not work. Some real work has to be done. So as I said, the Egrowth members, they expect real business leads. Okay. So Kunan, if I have a direct conversation with you, you would consume a lot of, yes, I'll go to Jigar as well. So Kunan, you would have a lot of requirements. The requirements that you have are real business for somebody else. Okay. Now, to dig those requirements from you, somebody will have to have a conversation with you. Now, this somebody, he will need to be paid because he has a stomach which needs to be, not only his stomach, he also has a family to be taken care of. So if I take care of that need of his, he will take care of your needs and he will get you those suppliers and vendors who will do the work for you. So that is where the money piece comes in. the English, somebody said, money makes the mayor go. So even if you have to have a good mayor, today, okay, you would probably not need a mayor anymore. But if you have to have, if not a flashy car, a basic car also, the poor machine, she will demand some money every day. If it's an electric car, you will need to charge it. If it's a car which runs on gasoline, you'll have to pay for the gasoline. If it has rubber tires, you will need to change those tires in a couple of years. If you are inside and you really want air conditioning, you will need some extra energy for that. Tell me which of this is without money? And this is something which I've learned, and this is for all of us. We do become uncomfortable when there is a money conversation. Okay, I don't know whether that is there in the money book or not. Suktipa, is it?
Yeah, it is there. All those thoughts, feelings, emotions, and
Right.
stuff comes up. Yeah.
Absolutely. But this money conversation is something which alters the space. So if we talk to, somebody spoke about Ambanis, right? Now, Ambanis will speak only to that person where there is money. They may not talk about money. But when they sense that this guy can lead me, so who moved my cheese, right? So they know where the cheese is and they'll go after that. All right. Jigar, you had a question.
Two people.
Sorry?
Jigar Soni and Abhinav Mathur.
Yeah, I'm just going. So Kunan, is it okay? Can I move on?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For it.
Thanks. Yeah. Jigar.
I had in line with the Kunan, my question is, I was about to figure out means what is the key value, key benefit you are going to deliver to these startups or MSMEs that I want to understand.
Awesome.
I have tried to see the website and
Got it. So Jigar, your name says that you are all about gold, right?
yes.
Okay. So there are some people who invest in gold. There are some people who invest in crops. There are some people who invest in businesses. And all these investments, they result into something valuable. In today's world, that can be converted into money. There used to be things which used to happen in barter, but dinosaur years back, not even donkeys years back. So finally, the businesses, they need ways to make money so that the people whom they've employed, their well-being is taken care of. The machines that they've invested in, those can be taken care of. And they are created. So a very interesting piece. Generally, the manufactured products are called goods because they are good to be sold. So this is the primary purpose of Egrowth. To help you make good money.
Yeah, that's making the money, but by how? Like from administrating or generating the leads. We need to be very specific what I understand, because you are means.
Jigar, you can have a separate conversation with Atul on that, I think.
Okay.
Sure.
Right.
So, yeah. So Sukhdeepak ji, if you could please share my number, or Jigar, if you could share your number, we'll take it up from there.
Yeah, you put your number on the chat, no?
I'll do that.
Anybody wants to get in touch. And Abhinav Mathur wanted to ask a question. After that, no more questions.
Hi, Abhinav.
Good morning, Atul. Good to see you alive.
Thank you. Thank God, at least one person is happy that I'm alive.
Yeah, I saw your video on the Facebook from the hospital. मैं कहा पता नहीं क्या हुआ इसका. अच्छा अतुल, I have one concern जो मैंने गुड की आज का जो टॉपिक था उससे वो कंसर्न मेरे निकल के आ गया है, अदरवाइज वो कंसर्न में लिए बैठा था about and that concern you Atul, maybe you don't know that me and Sudeepak were one of the first to join BNI in North India, one of the earliest ones.
Okay.
Okay, and so BNI, so it was about networking. BNI is about so even your business is about networking. Okay?
No, it is not.
So now, so
let him complete. Yeah, Haji.
So my concern about like meeting people and networking is that over the like I've been a BNI member for like more than 10 years, 12 years maybe now, and I've dropped last year. I just one day decided enough is enough, and I must have introduced more than 25 to 30 people to BNI. I think उससे ज़्यादा तो बहुत कम लोगों ने introduce किया होगा. Now my concern is that people are only interested. See, networking is about giving and taking, right?
Yeah.
Now, so imagine me going to a networking event, and then I will be hounded by insurance agents, LIC walas. I will be hounded by general insurance walas. I will be hounded by property walas. Ye le lo, ye le lo, ye le lo, and my peace will be disturbed. Now, I sometimes मैं पूछ भी लेता हूँ एक आध से, भैया do you have something to offer to the world? या आपने इसी वजह नेटवर्किंग इवेंट में गए थे कि 10 नंबर आपको मिल जाए so that you can just go after them. मतलब पहले I was not straight, now at times I'm straight also. So that is my concern. How or what that same thing is happening in BNI also. Whoever comes to their event with the check, they will just make him a member, and ultimately very less givers, and जिसको आप hunters बोलते हैं, hunter भरे पड़े हैं, farmers बड़े कम बचे हैं. So even BNI is going down the drain. Chapters which were doing so well in Gurgaon, they are on the verge of being closing also. And Noida is horrible that way. So that is my concern. So I would not have spoken about it, but आज आप आए हो, and since अंदर से I really want you to do great, because I wanted to ask you, I'm so sad about your mother, and I wanted to ask you about your daughter also. How's she doing now? And about your love life also बाद में पूछ लेंगे कैसा चल रहा है, कुछ हो रहा है, but ये एक मेरा कंसर्न है इस बारे में. और अब networking is doing great in Gujarat and South, but Delhi वाला के बारे में I think they are too selfish. Maybe it is worth it or not, I don't even know.
All right, तो अब ये बताइए कि आपको इसका जवाब हिंदी में चाहिए या अंग्रेजी में?
Hindi अंग्रेजी combined, so that our friends, a lot of South Indians in the group, so they can also understand.
चलिए ठीक है.
And sorry, signal problem, so therefore I've kept my video.
No worries. So if I remember correctly, you had come for one of the earliest meetings of Egrowth, which was somewhere in West Delhi, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Now from there till, and that would have been 2017, and today we are 2022, 5 years. During these 5 years, I think we have spoken a few times and we have met once or twice, right? And were you hounded by Egrowth?
No, I was not hounded by Egrowth.
Fantastic, thank you. So that's a saving grace. So while you say that our big boy friends, BNI is a networking organization, they are not. They don't claim to be one. They claim to be the world's largest referral organization. All right. Here, Sukhdeepak ji, if you permit, can we extend this call by around 10 minutes?
I'm okay. So if some people want to drop off, they will.
Yeah. So I will share another concept. This is called as the hierarchy of sales. Okay. So Avinav, this is not a direct answer to your question, but it is relevant. So this hierarchy of sales is a concept that I created, and I love to share that with you. So in this, at the bottom comes the sale. A chai wala, you go to a tea shop, pay the person the money, he gives you the tea and the transaction is over. This is a sales transaction. The next level of maturity is that you like the tea and the fellow says, sir, please give me a referral. So ask 5 more people to come and have tea from me, and I'll probably give you 1 more tea from my side. So this is how the referral piece begins. You go to Starbucks, after so many, they will ask you whatsoever, all right? That is the second level of maturity. The third level of maturity is networking. This is where you are investing in the relationship for no specific reason, for no specific ask. You are just building that relationship because you want to contribute to the person. That is from the person, and this is what I think Piana says, what goes around comes back, something of that kind, right? So when you are contributing to somebody, your needs will be taken care by somebody else. It will not necessarily be by the same person. That is the fundamental of networking. You do good, good will happen to you. Okay. The next level of maturity is leverage, wherein you build those structures around you such that things happen at a scale which is much, much, much larger than yourself. Imagine if Mahatma Gandhi had started going out for referrals, give me 5 people, I want to have independence for India. Do you think it would have ever happened? Or second piece, he would have gone to a few industrialists and said that we want to have an independent India. Do you think that's a great idea? Let's start meeting every Monday morning, 8 o'clock. Sharp, you come in your dhotis. I don't want you to be in your ties. Do you think it would have happened? What he did was he got all those industrialists together. He got the farmers together. He created those conversations, and that was leverage. And it is with that strength that in 1942, in the month of August, he was sitting in London on the famous Roundtable Conference. And things shifted for India. That was leverage. And the highest level in the hierarchy of sales is contribution. Today, if you know the Vivekanand organization, Vedanta? No. So Ramakrishna Mission, all right? Now, Ramakrishna Mission, you would not even know how many schools do they have, how many colleges they have, how many hospitals they run, how many people they impact. And you can't even imagine where the money comes from. And yet they are contributing. Or how the Sisters of Charity by Mother Teresa, that has been running. Today, she's gone long back. And still it is running. That is the business of contribution. So when you reach a stage, when you reach a mental state that you are operating in the contribution orbit, rest everything happens on its own. Then the LIC walas and the insurance wala, they will never hound you. Avinav, does this give you some answer, some clarity, some opening?
Yeah, some idea. Thanks.
All right. And for those of you who don't, actually nobody knows, last time when I met Avinav in person, that was at India Habitat Center, and he had just come back from Tirupati, and he gave me the Tirupati Prasad. Okay. Now, why on earth would he give this to me? Nobody knows. But that is contribution. Okay. He shared the blessings which he had earned with me. And I don't know how far did those go in my life. But this is the life of contribution. The other day, there was another friend of mine. He was at Dwarkadhish. And he bought the prasad from there and he couriered that to me. Yeah, Sukhdeep.
I think it's now time to say there's one thing I think you must highlight.
Yeah.
That how Egrowth is not primarily a networking organization anymore.
So if you may permit, I would not like to answer this question. So I don't want to say what Egrowth is not. So Egrowth is too many things that we are not.
Okay, so fine. So I think it's time we can,
Yeah. So we are one thing. So we are here to cause growth for small businesses. See, the larger businesses, they've got enough resources and clout to do whatsoever they want. The smaller businesses invariably are left wanting. So I'll again come to the same sentence. How is it that I can be a part of their solution rather than being a part of their problem? So I can be a part of their solution only when I decipher the problem. And only when I decipher the problem, I would know what can be the probable solutions. And now there can be so many different kind of problems that there cannot be one solution. So that is why I don't even know what all will Egrowth be doing. As of now, we are helping businesses generate more business. Make sense? Thank you.
All right, so hang on.
Thank you all for your time and for bearing with me.
And thank you very much on behalf of all of us for a very engaging and enlightening session. I think a lot of doubts or fears that people might have been addressed. Okay. And it reiterates, why I believe in you. Okay. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for agreeing to come and speak on this platform so early in the morning. But before we close, we have a tradition here in Egrowth. Oh, sorry, not in Egrowth, but in Empowering Conversations.
So can you see the impact what giving can happen? People start saying that Egrowth. Yeah.
So, हमारे यहाँ क्या होता है? We always end the session by some shairi from two people. Okay. So first we will have shairi. Kunain, I would very much like you to summarize any learnings that you have received on behalf of everybody, and then give your shairi. Let's complete that so that we can end by 8:15, your shairi, and then obviously Kuldeep ji's shairi as well. So please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I would like to again thank Atul ji and congratulations for Egrowth. And we all wish that you keep on growing. So the takeaway for me is that one should never ever give up. If you have the conviction about your ideas, and if you have believed that you can contribute to someone, then you can create a view, a path to help someone. And I like the analogy of curate. So that's wonderful. And I just wanted to share my analogy, that abbreviation of curate is that can reach extra, achieved through excellence. So salute to you and best wishes for all the future endeavors and growth in many, many countries. And hopefully when we meet next, we'll be talking about all international businesses whatsoever Egrowth has contributed to. So thank you so much, sir. And for शायरी अर्ज किया है अतुल जी आपके लिए, dedicated to you, कि कहीं अंधेरा है तो कहीं शाम होगी, कहीं अंधेरा है तो कहीं शाम होगी, मेरी हर खुशी तेरे नाम होगी, मेरी हर खुशी तेरे नाम होगी, और कभी मांग कर तो देख हमसे ऐ दोस्त, कभी मांग कर तो देख हमसे ऐ मेरे दोस्त, होंठों पर हंसी और हथेली पे जान होगी, होंठों पर हंसी और हथेली पे जान होगी.
ऐसे
Thank you.
Okay, Kuldeep ji, thank you. That was like really beautiful one. But उसमें एक लाइन ऐड कर देते ना, पतीले में जान होगी मगर पैसे मत मांगना.
ऐसा तो यूनिवर्स दे देगा सर.
Amin.
Kuldeep ji.
Atul, it was a very enlightening talk.
Thank you, sir.
A lot of things I have learned. एक दो लाइनें आपके लिए कहता हूँ, आपके लिए नहीं, मतलब आपसे इंस्पायर होकर कहता हूँ कि महक गुलाब की आएगी आपके हाथों से, महक गुलाब की आएगी आपके हाथों से, किसी के रास्ते से कांटे हटाकर तो देखो.
Wow, this is exactly what he's doing anyways. Fantastic.
Awesome.
The fragrance of the rose will come from your hand, and all you have to do is remove the thorns from somebody else's path. Wow. Thank you, Kuldeep.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. भाई हमारे आर्म फोर्सेस में आपके जैसे सीनियर शायर निकल के आए तो बड़ी बात है कि all right, thank you, thank you. All right, so thank you once again, Atul, and thank you for each and every participant who participated by asking questions and engaging in this conversation. And thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for another empowering morning conversation. Bye bye. All the best. God bless you.
Bye. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Atul.